Let's bring in our first guest for today. We're talking to Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI Chair Emeritus, George Barcelon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Storycon,
Welcome back, sir.
Good afternoon,
Yes, good
sir.
afternoon, Regina.
Nice to see you again.
Yes.
Sir, the last time kasi...
I was, yeah.
Yes, sir. The last time we talked to you, wala pang figures dun sa oil price increases for this week. That was the last time we talked to you.
Right.
Yesterday, klaro na. Ang laki ng itataas, for example, diesel as high as 24.50 per liter.
24.25.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you think the effect is gonna be sa manufacturing? Well, business.
Well, definitely. It's the increases is understandable. No, it's not that because of what's happening with the prices of crude oil. There were projections that it might go beyond 100, but lately there was some statement that was made by President Trump that this war in Israel and Iran would be over very shortly. Now, we hope that will happen, but we know in past geopolitical conflicts between Russia and Ukraine, everybody thought it's going to be over in a few months, but it dragged on for 4 years. So it's really hard to say, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. Now, the shorter, the better, because otherwise, the uncertainty when it's dragged on for a long time, it's very hard for businesses and the geopolitical turmoil all over the world. You know how bad it is now in Middle East. All the flight of international flights has been canceled, has been delayed, and it's taking its toll in this trade and commerce side.
Chairman, long before itong usapin sa pag-suspend ng excise tax, ay pumosisyon na kayo, one of those rare moments, employers and labor, capital and trade unions, nag-unite na dapat naman isuspend itong excise tax para bigyan ng kaunting breathing space yung consumers as well as yung ating capital. No? That was several months ago. No? Ito ngayon, ito na naman ang usapin, itong excise tax. Anong tingin nyo rito?
Yes.
No?
Ang tingin namin, yung tama yung sinabi mo, nag-joint force kami na yung TUCP, no? The labor union, kung pwede sa gobyerno para makatulong sa negosyante, maski na yung VAT sa kuryente, kung pwede lang tanggalin. And again, of course, now with what's happening, we're following it through with the sana man removal of the excise tax on oil. No, those are all primarily to mitigate the impact of the high price. We can understand that the excise tax is also a revenue stream for the government. And we just hope that the government would be able to work out something wherein in the meantime, everybody would be suffering. No? The pronouncement of the government is now yung 4-day work. But we are also hoping that there will be clearer policies. No? When you say 4-day work, ano bang ibig sabihin? Ano bang government agencies? Like the customs, which is very crucial in the trade aspect, mahirap na, you shipments are delayed, both import and exports. Also on the financial. I take it that we have past experience before, no? During the COVID times, where people are not allowed to work on premise, but all of these functions of the crucial government agency must continue providing that kind of a service.
Of course, the problem with cutting or suspending the excise fuel taxes is, of course, that's less revenue for the government. And in fact, ang estimate ng DOE at this point is if they cut it from May to December of this year, they will lose 136 billion pesos. Now, on the other side of that, a few days ago, we had data showing that the government debt is already at a record high at this point, 18 trillion pesos. In short, we need every peso that we can get. What about the other solutions? What other solutions are you seeing there? If it's not to suspend excise taxes, and I know Congress is already talking about that, But wouldn't targeted subsidies be more effective at this point, sir?
Well, I'd like to think that although most of our budget for the different government agencies are part of the GAA, that they have to really review and those budget, and where certain agencies can do without that big an amount, some amount can be repurposed for this as contingency for this sudden event, no, of uncertainty. Sad to say, we know very well in the past the money that is made available, if they're not spent wisely or they're being stolen, it's at the you're sacrificing the kind of services that the public needs badly. So I'd like the government to really review and put priority on some of the money where it could be properly allocated to help us deal with the situation, the critical situation as of now. No? And I can see that the social services might be impacted. And I also raised the question, how about the students, the schools? Are they going to go back to possibly, if this is going to be prolonged, are they going to do the study from home? Like in the offices, we've been again discussing about the possibility of work from home, and all of this comes into play pending the results of what's happening in this Middle East conflict.
Ang sinasabi niyo,
Mr.
Chair,
Barcelon, yung suspension ng yung suspension ng excise taxes. Kasi ang isang impact ng fuel cost is on logistics, no? And I know that the business community has been complaining for a long time about high logistics cost. Kapag ganyan, you will be passing on, di ba? Sa consumer,
Yeah.
sa sakali. Yung presyo ng langis tumaas, pupunta siya sa consumer at maapektuhan din lahat.
Okay. Kaya Amy, sinabi ko kanina, dapat ng gobyerno mag-review sila ng mga yung allocated funds, no? I don't want to bring this up, but since we're discussing about the debt of the government that's hitting 18 trillion. Ang 18 trillion na yan, yung debt servicing, umaabot na more than 1 trillion a year. And the amount of trillion for us is more visible because when you look back to what was stolen, a trillion ang pinag-usapan eh. Sana man if they can do something about that, yung restitution na yung nawala, those money can really be a big help at this point in time.
ang
In fact,
sinasabi niyo,
merong mga
Chairman,
proposal ngayon, in fact, ang proposal ngayon ay permanent lift na yung excise tax sa fuel. Kasi hindi naman daw sin tax yan. It's not a sin product eh. It's a basic necessity. Bakit daw may sin tax?
Yes.
Yung fuel. Ano po yung
alam
opinion doon
ko,
sa proposal na yon?
alam mo dati that excise tax is a big revenue source for the government. Kaya indirectly the consumer or the industry is being taxed unreasonably. Kaya I'm all for removing that excise tax.
ang sinasabi niyo, Chairman, ay itong crisis na ito is also a good opportunity for the government na mag-ayos. Yung matagal nang sinasabi na anti-corruption, yung matagal nang sinasabi na better tax collection, yung matagal na sinasabi na isara na yung mga white elephants sa gobyerno, ito ngayon ay isang opportunity para gawin yon. Usually, a crisis
Tama.
ay hindi lang negative. A crisis can be positive in terms ng mga opportunity na matagal nang hindi ginagawa.
Definitely, I'm with you 100%. Itong situation natin ngayon, and I openly talk about this, hindi naman gawa ng private sector eh. Yung malaki na wala, hindi naman gawa ng private sector, gawa ng gobyerno eh. Kaya sila mismo, they should find a solution. but don't squeeze it out to the private sector, because money that were lost are really money that the taxpayer paid. So yung sinabi mo kanina, I'm 100% behind the government should really address some of this issue, some of the loopholes. Yung budget na yun, yung 6.6 ba, 6.7 trillion, kung may mga lugar na hindi ka dapat ganun kalaki, they should review it and trim it down, and if the money can be repurposed for this crisis.
Sir, there's the DOE sent show cause orders to, I think, a little over 70 gas stations for,
Profiteering daw.
anti-competitive practices, let's just say, alleged anti-competitive practices. And then the question on people's minds, sa isip ng lahat ng tao at this point is, why did oil prices move so fast when these gas stations are still using reserves? Diba? Hindi pa po ito imported oil. We know the answer because it's a replacement cost and all of that. But baka meron kayong insight, sir, on the process of how oil companies import the oil and why it happens that the prices move so fast.
Dagdag lang sa tanong ni Reg, Chair. Halimbawa, yung ibang oil companies, hindi ganun kalaki yung itinaas. Tapos yung iba, sobrang taas. Di ba?
Baka lang meron kayong insight, sir, into
Something is wrong.
how that happened.
Hindi, ang ano ko lang dyan, kasi kanyang-kanyang yung sa operation, sa business operation, may mga iba, mas malaki yung inventory nila, no? Halimbawa, they have more than 30 days or 45 days of inventory. So, at least they can track on, no, for a longer time without too much increase. Yung mga iba, I heard that there are some of them they don't have an inventory of 30 days. Kaya the replacement cost kicks in right away. Ibig sabihin, halimbawa na naibenta nila yung crudo at the old price, pagbalik ng pera, ang kaya nila sa pera na yan, mga less 30% of crude that they can buy. So that's the economic side of things, no. But I do agree that most businesses are worried about this. But in the private sector, as we have experienced during the COVID, when prices start going up, the private sectors are business sectors are very careful. Normally, if we can drag it out, the longer the better, no. But there comes a tipping point na talagang hindi kaya nila, they have no choice. But we don't want to unreasonably burden the consumer also. We think that this is a crisis. Everybody is in the same boat. Let's do our part, no. Na if we can help mitigate a bit, let's not take advantage of the situation, no. Yung nako-hoarding, yung naka-overpricing. I think on that side, the DTI should also be very vigilant at this point in time, because there are bound to be some businessmen that would take advantage of the situation. But as a whole, I would, in the past experience during the COVID, we can see as a whole, the business sectors are responsible. They don't want to, as I said, na increase a price that is not justified.
But sir, if you don't mind, can I just canvass your opinion with regard to the use of replacement costs versus acquisition costs doon sa oil industry? I know it's a different industry altogether, pero as a businessman, can I canvass your opinion on that? Kasi some people are also saying na parang we know that it's the system being used right now, but why is that system in place? And why do we have to accept it as is or as a fact? And is there anything that we could or should do about it? Your point of view as a businessman.
Well, I would like to think that from the government side, they can deal on a country to country relationship. Okay, where we can get more allocations on reasonably priced crude oil. But the crux of the matter now is even the shipping out of the oil. Ang Strait of Hormuz is now a choking point. Some of the tankers are there, but they cannot ship out because of the fear that they might be targeted. And one of the fact that the shipping lines are not, plying their routes is because a lot of the insurance coverage have been withdrawn. In other words, bahala kayo sa sarili mo. If you cross that Strait of Hormuz and then you get bumped, you take the full risk. And that is why everybody's a bit careful, because the insurance companies, you know how they are, no? It's like the going is that when there's no rain, they provide you the umbrella. When there's the rain, they take away the umbrella. Now, I don't know how true it is. No? It's not fair to talk about them like that. But they have to look at the risk factor. At this point in time, when this war is going on, anything can happen. And it might be too risky for them to ply the routes with a tank full of oil. And that is the choke point. That is why even the delivery of oil mismo is curtailed to the extent that everybody has to budget, their consumption. And even the processing, oil refining processing, it's a continuous process. No, you cannot say you stop today, then you start tomorrow. It cannot. They have to have a drawn out the processing, so that the stop would not be abrupt, and the startup, because like in business, especially in manufacturing, magastos yung startup when you stop completely, then you start up. So I think they have those in mind. That's why they are studying the matter and see how one can navigate under this situation.
Okay. We'll leave that there. Thank you so much for talking to us
Okay,
today and
thank
explaining
you.
all of that. PCCI
Thank you,
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat, Chair.
Chairman
Thank you,
Emeritus
sir.
George Barcelon. Salamat, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.